What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fantasy Sports Now. Week 10 streamers, 2-pitch starters. We do this every week, so let's just jump right into the content like we always do. We start every week with looking at Week 9 successes and failures. Last week was actually the first kind of humble pie week I feel like we really had. Though you do see the successes on the screen, and I don't like to spend too much time on Week 9. Wade Miley at the bottom right there had a really good run, but we actually didn't have all that crazy amount of success. Usually we're struggling to get like names on this list, but it just didn't happen last week, week 9. Now we do have to remember these are kind of bottom of the barrel kind of guys that we're picking up here, so I actually expect to have less success than we have in other weeks. So hopefully this is the fluke week and we can continue to have success. Here are some of the guys again if you want to pause and check it out. That really struggles for us. Like Fulte, man, watching that start was painful. Merrill Kelly, just I don't know what happened to him this last week. He had good matchups and he's pitching well and just looked bad. It was brutal. So anyway, guys, hopefully that is the outlier. We've had a lot of success week 1 through 8, and let's jump into some of what has made us successful here. This is basically going off of roster owned under 50%. We're kind of, again, we're pulling bottom of the barrel guys here and trying to find good starts, good matchups, and trying to win fantasy leagues through streaming pitchers. This week, week 10 here, is actually kind of a weird week because there's basically no games on Monday. Like, nobody's playing Monday. There's 3 total baseball games, which is really rare. And even more rare is that there's only 3 baseball games and there's 3 guys like available. This for me is like a clear punt. There's just no one. Usually I'll take a stab at somebody on these punt days, but I'm not even going to do that. Like, what's the point? I don't like the matchup against the Cubs or San Diego, so I'm just going to throw those out entirely. So Monday, don't stream, nobody, voiding the whole thing. Tuesday, oddly enough, we have a lot of names, but boy, I really don't like a lot of them. Matthew Boyd, Detroit guy here, but he's had 14 earned in his last 4 outings. He has not looked good. He did not look good last year. This ERA this year is not that bad, and a lot of this points to a good potential start here. Seattle's offense has sputtered at times, but boy, has Boyd looked awful. I would normally pick Marco Gonzalez here in this spot, but we know that he's only gone 4 innings and he's kind of had that elbow thing going on. It might actually not be a bad start. If I'm going to pick somebody, he might not be a bad option here going at Detroit against Matthew Boyd. I also don't mind this Carlos Martinez matchup, even though it is against Bieber. It's probably not a winnable game. I love the teams going against Cleveland, but boy, Carlos Martinez last week had the absolute worst start I think I've ever seen while doing fantasy. This is like year 15 for me. There's one other that comes to mind, but it was not. It was a long time ago. So he was. I think he had 10, 11 earned. He had 2 outs. It was just brutal, hard to watch. The Dodgers were just running him. It was awful, really bad. A start for Carlos Martinez. I don't trust David Peterson. He just hasn't looked good. This is another good matchup. It should be a good matchup, but I just don't trust the guy to pitch well. So it's a really tough one on Tuesday because I really don't trust any of these guys to do that well. If I'm going to pick somebody, honestly, I'm probably going to go with Marco Gonzalez because even though he's going to give me probably 4, maybe 5 innings max, I at least know that they're going to be good innings, and I know it's going to be at Detroit, and it's probably he might get a win, but at least he's not going to get blown up, hopefully, in that start. Wednesday here, we're actually going to start getting into some names here. These are guys, I'm going to give you 4 right off the bat. I like Wainwright again. Going Cleveland here, he's pitched really well. Honestly, he kind of had a blow-up game. It wasn't a blow-up game. He had a no-hitter going to 4, and then he kind of struggled to end that game. But he pitched well again his last start. Honestly, I'm shocked that he's only owned 40% of leagues. He's old, obviously, and that's bad, I guess. We're all kind of old. I mean, what's the problem here? He's really had a pretty good bounce back year. Maybe not getting the wins, all that fun stuff. Griffin Canning I actually like as well. He did struggle in Seattle, kind of bit me a little bit in my league, but that's okay. I expect a bounce back from Canning. I expect him to kind of get back onto that striking more guys out train than he performed. I think he's going to soar eventually. It might be later this year. It might be early next year too. I hate to say, but at some point, I think Griffin Canning is really going to soar. Another one I really like on Wednesday, I guess Wednesday is kind of my stream day here, is I really like Austin Gomber. Where is he here? Here he is. He's looked really good. Colorado, he's at Miami. Miami doesn't have their starter. That's fine. Doesn't really matter, honestly. Sorry, not to offend those in Miami. The couple hundred fans that are there. Another shot, sorry. But he's been averaging 6, 7 Ks per outing, about 6 innings for about a month straight, really. And I know Colorado's offense is brutal, but good matchup. He's been pitching well. I expect him to also pitch well. Flexen here is available as well at Detroit. It's against Casey Mize, so I don't really love that part of it. Detroit actually has been playing better, so I did have him written down. I'm looking at it right now, but I'm actually going to cross that off because I don't know if I like that start because he doesn't seem to get enough Ks to justify me taking the risk. So moving on, Thursday. Again, really weird week. Not that many games Thursday. There's usually not a lot of games Thursday anyway. But this week with Monday being weird, I don't like anything here. Sheffield's here against Detroit. Okay, yeah, I guess that's a decent matchup. Gonzalez doesn't really pitch that deep into games. He's usually like the follower, so he's usually given like 3 innings after the fact. J.A. Happ, he has been getting wins. He's been only been going 5 innings, and it's against the Yankees. Like I know the Yankees have been struggling, but I don't want to start a Minnesota pitcher against the Yankees. I just don't like it. Same kind of thing with Oakland. Oakland's been kind of streaky, but they've been hot enough to where like I'm just gonna avoid those games. I don't like anything on Thursday. I'm not even gonna give you a name. Friday, get into some more names. Yarbrough, he threw a complete game. It wasn't a shutout. It was 2 earned against the Yankees, and he looked awesome. So pitching against Baltimore, against Matt Harvey, this almost feels like a trap game. Honestly, after you see a guy pitch really well, usually they come back and kind of struggle, but I don't think that is possible almost here with Baltimore and Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey has not been great, obviously. He's down here if you want to kind of check in on that. It's not been great. He'll probably strike out some guys in Tampa Bay because that's what they do. But boy, I expect a win coming out of Yarbrough there. Cole Irvin, I like as again he kind of bit us a couple weeks ago, but he pitched well last week. He kind of struggled a couple back-to-back starts, but I kind of like this matchup. I think that he's going to get back track. He already got back on track, but I think that he's going to kind of continue that. And I think Oakland has actually been playing pretty darn solid, and I like that start there. I think he's a guy that's not going to get blown up. That's I think the main thing I like about streamers is that like I really don't see this as a total blow up. And if I'm getting counting stats, I don't know, non blow up, I'm all for it. Saturday, oh boy, it's kind of a weird one here. I'm actually, Tyon has bit us before. I think it was, I don't know, week 3 or 4. He's really bitten us. Philly also seems like they're hitting again. And so for me to take Tyon here seems like a major risk. Spencer Howard has been pitching better, but he doesn't go very deep into games. Honestly, I shouldn't want to make this pick, but eventually Tyon's going to have a huge start, and I think it's going to be this week. I think it's going to be against Philly, and I don't know why. It might be a gut feeling, but if we want to skip this day, we can. Merrill Kelly, again, has a good matchup. He really does. Alex Cobb, not the greatest in the world, especially his last start was really brutal. LA is such a weird. The Angels, I could go on for hours. Such a weird team. I'm going to try to avoid that conversation. Chad Kuhl, I normally say, you know what, he actually pitched really well. I think it was today. Pitched pretty darn well today, actually. But man, going against Corbin Burns, I like at Milwaukee, but going against Corbin Burns, I don't know if I like that. But if you're not looking for wins, then maybe you go here. That's a risk, 1% of leagues, but hey, why not? Sunday, so I guess for my pick for Saturday, I do like Tyon. I like Kelly again. So that's who I'm kind of sticking with. Man, Kelly, don't screw me this time, man. Sunday here, we're getting into some kind of different territory. Got Matt Boyd going against Rodon. I think he's gonna get roughed up in that one probably. I get a text almost weekly from my buddy saying, "Hey, Boyd's on the mound. He gave up 4 earned almost every week." It's the same thing. Caleb Smith as I rant on this late it's Sunday for me here. As I continue to rant, Caleb Smith is now starting. Bumgarner went on the DL, and Caleb Smith kind of took that spot, and he's actually pitched really well. And again, this weird kind of LA team. Trout's not in that lineup going against Quintana. I just like that start. The Angels are such a strange team. They'd like to not hit at some games. They just like don't show up. It's really strange. So Caleb Smith pitching well, and in that matchup, Quintana's obviously not been good. Here he is right here. I do not like that at all. So wow, look at these strikeouts. That's surprising. Striking a lot of guys out, but also giving up a lot of dongs. So it's kind of like, man, come on, killing me here. The other name I have here is Drew Smiley. Yes, he has struggled a bit, but going against Miami is always tends to lead to a decent enough start. You usually get 4 or 5 innings of scoreless games against Miami. It just happens. Pittsburgh just played Miami. They're all pretty tight games. They're all pretty low scoring for the most part too. So those are the guys for this week. A couple two-start, man. The two-start pitching is almost impossible to do this week because there is no games, Monday. There's just nothing. There's nothing here. And most guys that pitch Tuesday, like there's a lot of off games. So like even if I wanted to pick David Peterson, I can't because he's not going to pitch again. So it's a really tough one this week. But I do have two names. Drew Smiley is one of them. I already talked about him for Miami. This start is more shaky, obviously. I do like this start. Atlanta they've been okay, but they have not been good enough. But they can produce a lot of runs. And so this start is kind of shaky, like I said, but I do like this start. The other one, kind of off the wall, because that's kind of how this week is going. It's not Matthew Boyd. I am actually going way out there. I am actually thinking about John Lester. I know it's freaking nuts. John Lester here. He's old. He has not pitched that well. But actually, his last two starts, he's only given up 2 earned. 9.2 innings. It's not a lot over those last two starts. 7 Ks out of those 9 innings. And no wins, nothing like that. He's looked okay. And against Tampa Bay, you can rack up strikeouts. San Francisco's offense is good, but it's not great. So this is the insane pick of the week. I realize that. So probably like let's not maybe do this. Let's probably not take him. But man, I think he could have a big week this week. Call me out because I might be crazy. It's Sunday. It's late. I'm tired, so I might be rambling, and this might be a crazy episode. But man, let's go, John Lester. Can't wait for baseball next week, even though I'm gonna have to wait till Tuesday basically because there's nothing. There's a few games, but anyway, guys, have a good one. Appreciate you watching it. Peace out.